Hello, welcome to today's immigration tidbit. Okay, I have a few things I want to say about pleading guilty to a particular crime if you're not a U.S. citizen. But the first and most important is do not just plead guilty without getting the advice of an immigration attorney. Okay, that's the bottom line. No matter how good the plea sounds, no matter how good of a deal you think it is, if you feel like you have the gun up to your head and do this, you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail, then it's not something you should consider doing. Every criminal attorney and criminal judge will fully understand, if you are not a U.S. citizen, that you not only could, but that you should seek the advice of an immigration attorney. In fact, the criminal attorney, being an attorney and doing what is necessary, should tell you to get the advice of an immigration attorney, so that the plea deal you are considering taking won't affect your immigration status as much as if you do a proper plea it might, meaning that you might be considered an aggravated felon and deported the rest of your life. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth getting a smaller sentence in criminal court, in criminal law, only to be transferred to immigration detention after and deported back to your country for the rest of your life? Okay, I mean, the answer is no, unless you want to go back to your country. And likewise, you might plead to something that would make you ineligible for forms of relief in deportation or removal proceedings. It doesn't mean you won't be put into removal proceedings. Nobody can guarantee that. But if you're in removal proceedings, you may as well make it so it's better and easier for you to win than not. Okay? So the immigration attorney's job to do what I refer to as a criminal evaluation. That's where we take, first of all, the facts of what it is that you did criminally, and we look at the what's on the table, what they want you to plead to, the crime, the sentence, and then of course we have to look at the jurisdiction. I've made different videos before saying immigration law is federal law, meaning we can practice anywhere, but that doesn't mean that the application of every single law is the same everywhere. Okay, that's not what that means. What that means, for example, let's say you're in, Washington or Oregon, the Ninth Circuit, very liberal circuit, and you commit a certain crime. That would mean one thing, but then let's say you're in the Fifth Circuit, Texas, and you perhaps commit the same crime. That would mean a whole different thing. There is the Board of Immigration Appeals decisions, okay, and depending on the Circuit Court of Appeal decisions, the BIA may or may not take precedence where you are. Depending on the circuit courts, those are judicial courts, the First Circuit, Ninth Circuit, Fifth Circuit, those are all the circuit courts right below the United States Supreme Court, and they take precedence over the BIA because the BIA is an administrative appellate agency, okay? So it will depend where you are as to what plea may or may not be the best for you. When I'm evaluating a case, jurisdiction is a big part of the decision making on how I advise the client. Because whereas in the Ninth Circuit, I may say, well, this is a good deal. That may not be a good deal in the Fifth Circuit, okay, or the 11th Circuit. And likewise, if you make a plea, you of course have to do it knowingly and voluntarily, which means that's why you have an immigration attorney advise you. Because from my example at the top of this, when I said, well, if you're going to plead to something that gets you a good deal in criminal courts, what's the use if you're going to be deported the rest of your life? If you know you're going to be deported the rest of your life, and if you know the immigration consequences and still take that plea, that's your decision. But a lot of times when I'm evaluating different criminal statutes, which those, by the way, are different too. You can have burglary defined one way in Hawaii and have it defined a completely different way in New York. Okay, so analyzation of the actual statutes is also key to a criminal evaluation. So, bottom line here, do not plead guilty until you get advice from an immigration attorney. Okay?